Hey guys, Austin here. So last time, my last video, I said that I was looking to get an access port, but the person I was supposed to buy from used from that I had spoken with on Craigslist wound up, falling through, being real shady. So I didn't want to go that route. So yesterday afternoon, I actually wound up going to a local tuning shop by me, Prime Motoring in New Jersey, and picking up an access port directly from them for my car. So I installed it yesterday afternoon and put the Stage 1 93 Octane map, the OTS Cobb map, onto my car. It came all preloaded on the access port from Prime Motoring. So without further ado, here it is. This is the case they give you to store it in. Just a little nice little zip up case. So you open it up and there's the access port. It sits right in there, nice and pretty. Now it's blue right now. Came with a silver faceplate on it, which I'm sure you can see in any other picture or video. I changed it to the blue just to kind of match the outside of my car that's blue. Also inside this package I have my extra faceplate, my wire to connect it to the computer, and the Cobb stickers that it came with. I just haven't gotten around to doing anything else with that stuff right now, so I'm just going to leave it in here for right now. Also included with the access port kit is the wire to connect it to your car, I believe OBD2 wire, which I have plugged into my car right now. The holster for the access port, so it just kind of sits right in there. It's like, I believe it's actually magnetic in there, so it kind of just really nice, sits right in there. Now, in preparation for getting the access port, when I knew for sure I was getting one, I decided to go online and order mounts to put this in my car, because I didn't want to put a sticky or anything like that on the actual dash of my car. So I actually wound up going with two different mounts from the same, I bought them at the same time in the same company. So they actually wound up getting shipped together about, I think, $10 to $12 a piece. I got a vent clip mount and a suction mount. Now I started out thinking that I would probably like the vent clip better, just because I would think, kind of in the same, I would put it in the center gauges, kind of similar area to where my stock gauges were. It'll almost sit in line with my regular gauge, kind of keep the center cluster going. When I had installed it, I didn't really feel that it was stable. I just didn't really like the feel of it on the vent clip like that, so I instead wound up then this morning popping on the suction cup clip, and I drove with it like that today. To be honest, just now I was just kind of messing around with the vent clip, got it clipped on a lot better, a lot more sturdy, and I'm not sure which one I really like better. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with on a day-to-day basis. I also don't even know if I'm going to use the access port as the gauges on a day-to-day basis, being that I'm really only running a Stage 1 OTS tune, so I don't really need to be monitoring too many different parts of the data of the car. Plus, I also, to be honest, until I do more research, I'm not going to know what I'm really looking at with a lot of the gauges. So right now, I think, I'll show you once I get it turned on, but I believe I have it set up right now to show boost, intake air temperature. What else do I have it set up as? I think RPMs and fuel gauge. I think I only have 4 set up right now. So I'm going to get it started up. I'll turn on the car, get the access port set up. I'm not sure which place I'll put it for right now. Maybe I'll put it in the center so I can get a forward-facing view, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So, all right, hey guys, so we're back again here. I'm going to do now the follow-up part of the video. So I have the access port right now mounted in my center dash on the vent clip mount, which before I finish up this video, I'll be sure to kind of show you how I set up each clip, and I'll post up the access port on each one. But right now I have it set up over here, so I actually still can see everything above, can see everything over here. It's a pretty good setup actually. I do like it over here. It's just right there, right where you want it to be, right where I'm looking. So like I said, right now I have my boost gauge, which also has a boost bar once you hit into positive boost. Intake temp, which also has a bar graph over here. RPMs and fuel economy, current fuel economy. The shift light is right up above there. Right now I think I have that set to 5800, so I actually don't even think I've seen it yet. Haven't been able to take the car really that fast yet. Just been doing mostly city driving, gotten a couple little quick pulls on the highway, but nothing too aggressive just yet. So, overview. I know what you're really waiting to hear is my thoughts of the tune, the Stage 1 tune on here. Now, it's very different. It's definitely very different. I can definitely feel the difference between the stock versus the Stage 1 tune from Cobb. Now, stock, I feel like really, I got a big kick of boost from like 2,800 maybe to about 4,000. You know, it really kind of puts you back in your seat a little bit and hits you hard. But then once you really get up to maybe like 4,500 to 5,000, it really starts to fall on its ass and just kind of feels like you're not really pushing it anymore. So it kind of spiked real quick and then fell off towards the end, which I was not used to coming out of a naturally aspirated Honda engine where it just kind of built all the way up into the rev range. So this car is very different from, or stock was very different from that. Now coming into the Stage 1 tune, you don't get that same kick as soon as boost comes on like you did on the stock tune. You're not really gonna feel that quick whip as soon as boost comes on between 28 and maybe 4 grand. But it's going to slowly build in that range, and then once you hit like 4,500, it really kicks on strong and pulls all the way to, I mean, I probably have hit around 6,000 RPM so far before I reset my shift light, because I didn't even know how to set it at that point. Come on. So I definitely do like it. It makes it feel more, it definitely feels more powerful, definitely quicker, especially up top. And even for daily driving, like that kick of boost felt cool and was fun to do every now and then. But for daily driving, for the most part, it was a little bit too much. I don't mind it now not kicking like that. It just kind of drives like a normal, it feels more naturally aspirated until you really get into boost. Not just like as soon as it comes on. It doesn't just kick you as soon as it comes on. It really pulls all the way through and builds boost all the way through. Now the other thing I have noticed is that since I've flashed the car to Stage 1, my boost numbers are not nearly as high. So before, the access port here on the boost gauge shows you the lowest it's hit since you've turned the car on and the peak it's hit since you've turned the car on. So the lowest right now has been -12.5 or -12.1, and the most has been 0. So I haven't even gotten into boost yet on this drive, which I will do later, hopefully, if there's not as much traffic, because I'm almost at my destination. However, even when I have been pulling in, 3rd, 4th gear, pretty, if I had to guess, probably 60% on the throttle, I'm only hitting about 15 pounds of boost, whereas on the stock tune, I know this is probably only for short spikes, but I used to get boost spikes up to, 20 pounds, which, now that I'm looking back at it and seeing the tunes keeping it below that and keeping it more of a constant boost level, probably a lot better for the car itself. And you're going to get a more consistent, smoother power band throughout the whole rev range, which is definitely what I've also noticed with the Stage 1 tune. So I definitely do like it for daily drivability. It's definitely very different. You're not going to get that same kick, like I said, but if you let the boost start building up and get into the higher rev range, it's definitely all worth it in the end. So I'm at where I got to go for right now. But I'll be right back, and we will get into, when I come back into the car, I will show you it actually in the other gauge setup. I'll drive it with it over here for the drive home. I hope you'll be able to see that. I think you will. So I'll be right back, guys. Gotta go. All right, guys. So I'm back here. I wanted to wait to plug in the Accessport and everything until I had the camera going, car's on. Here's the wire, bottom of the Accessport, plugs right in. I'll let you guys see the startup. Cobb Subaru WRX. It shows a picture of the 2015. And here's my gauges. So it starts right up and goes right into my gauge setup. So now I can go back. So I have my gauge set up. I have my performance measurements, so I can go in and measure, 0 to 60, dynamometer, stuff like that. I can read the codes of my car. I can vary up different parts of the tune. This is where I would look through and set different points for launch control and flat foot shifting. And this is where also all the maps are stored if I wanted to reflash and put on a different map. And then uninstall if I wanted to back off and take the Accessport off of my car and go back to a stock tune. So earlier I had the Accessport set up over here. Go back up to my gauges so you can kind of see. So this is the way it was set up on the drive before, and I do like this setup. But again, just to kind of show you guys the differences, I'm going to set it up on the other side where the sticky mount is, the suction. So it's just going to pop right on there and slide in. So now it sets up right over there as well. Now I'm not sure if, I think you guys are going to be able to see that pretty well. Right up over my top corner, and the wire, I have the wire, it plugs in kind of right above your left foot, above the clutch. So I have the wire curled up and kind of tucked underneath my steering column here, and it gives me just enough wire to go over here or to over here without having too much slack. And when I take the Accessport out at night and put it away every time, I'm able to kind of tuck the wire above my steering column, like the end here, and it stays up there nice and neat, so there's not really many wires hanging around. So here's the mount that goes on the vents, and that's the suction mount. Both very simple. I mean, I don't think there's really need for me to go into either of them. If you guys have any questions about either one, you are more than welcome to comment, and I'll get back to you and answer them as soon as I can. But let's go for a little drive home. Hopefully I'll get a little open patch of road in front of me, and I'll be able to get on a little bit so you guys can kind of see how the tune varies in the pull compared to a stock pull. This is a reckless parking lot, my friends. I've never driven a car that has had a A-pillar gauge setup, but I'm guessing that having it set up over here is almost supposed to mimic that. Kind of gives you that same look. If you're looking here, you just kind of look straight up, and there's your gauges right there, all set up, all laid out for you, nice and neat. The data that's displayed on here versus on the car's boost gauge, everything seems pretty in line, pretty similar. I mean, same thing with like RPMs, everything seems pretty much in line. Of course, now this is showing everything. I mean, this is showing boost to 2 decimal places, and RPMs is showing, all 4, whereas this is you're not going to notice the small changes. The Accessport really does show every minute change in the engine, which is pretty almost hectic to look at. If you really kind of get distracted and start looking at it, it's very hectic. However, I do like it. It gives me something. I think my favorite part so far is the fact that it shows kind of where you started in, like, especially for something like boost. It shows, like, what the min was and what the max was for the entire drive. So right now, you know, boost is still coming up as 0.0 because I haven't, you know, gotten on it at all as my max boost. So we're gonna see what it gets up to. I think the highest I've seen it, you know, on a run since I've really been paying attention has been 16 point something, which really isn't all that high considering over here, you know, I've seen max boost readings or peak boost readings of over 20. I think I showed on my last video of doing the polls was 20.5. So actually I might reset that right now and kind of see if it shows a similar peak boost number at the end of this versus this, because right now they're both going to once I get into boost, that will be the max boost, and they should run evenly. So we'll see where each one lands in comparison on a peak boost number on a run here. So I'm going to spin around in just a second and go back the other direction on this. Just I'm stuck behind a really slow car right now. I'm feeling pulling over. I'd rather just kind of spin around and know that I have no one coming the other direction on me. So here's my spot to pull. Okay, so let's see what we got here on the peak boost numbers right there. On the Accessport, we're looking at 18.35, and on the peak boost here, we're looking at 18.1. So, you know, we are pretty damn close right there on the ratings for boost, and that's definitely significantly lower than what I saw on the stock map. However, it definitely feels quicker, especially that time. I got it all the way up to red line. I saw my shift light flashing on me. So, you know, I definitely was able to take it all the way up right there, and definitely lower boost numbers than I was getting on my stock tune. So it actually makes me feel better that I'm able to get more power from a little bit less of boost and a little bit more, I think, of stable boost is what it really comes down to. I think the boost overall is probably coming in at around the same level, but I'm not getting the same boost spikes that I was getting before, which is definitely a good thing. I didn't really like the fact that, you know, boost really should be sticking at around probably 18 pounds, but, you know, I was getting boost spikes up to 20.5, so it's an extra 2.5 pounds of boost spiking in there, and that's not good. I don't really like that. So definitely happy to see that that boost really leveling out and staying at a more even rate. So that's pretty much it on the Accessport. Gonna definitely continue using it. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to use it as a gauge setup every day. With how often I'm in and out of my car, I don't want to say it's a hassle, because it's really one plug. But by the time I unzip it, like by the time I put it away, get it in and out of my glove box, unzip it, you know, it's just a little bit of a hassle to do all the time. So I think if I know I'm just going to be doing, you know, normal driving, I don't think I'll have it out. I think I'll probably keep it away for stuff like that. But when I know I'm going to be either making videos or coming out and having, you know, a fun little spirited driving, I'll definitely take it out so I can kind of monitor things and keep a better eye on things. But I'm glad I just did that test to kind of see that the boost gauge on here really definitely does work and keeps a very similar readout to what my Accessport's showing right now. I mean, I'm coming in at 9.7 right here, it's showing 9.7 right there, and it's also keeping everything perfectly stable, really, which is what I think I like about it the most. All the boosts are staying stable. See, now there goes my AC just kicked off, down to 10.5 there, 10.5 here. Everything's pretty even kilter there and there. So it makes me think that if I had a prior generation WRX, I'd probably use it all the time. So I knew my boost, I knew all stuff like that. But being that my car has the boost gauge and it has that screen and can kind of monitor things like that on its own, I don't know if I really need the Accessport for daily driving out. I'm 100% happy I got the Accessport. Definitely like the Stage 1 tune, definitely more over on the top end aggressive than the stock tune, which I felt kind of bogged down on the top end. So overall, definitely happy with the Accessport. I would definitely suggest it. My first real mod to the car. and I definitely think I chose right with this. I think I did it the right way. I'm glad I got it from the shop. The only other reason I got it from the shop instead of ordering it online, I mean, yeah, I didn't have to wait for shipping, which was great. But the real reason I did it was just to establish some type of connection or relationship with this shop, because that's most likely where I will go if I ever do any pro tuning, or if I do pro tuning, I guess I should say. So I definitely am glad I went there to pick it up. I didn't really get to talk to them that much. I know they were kind of busy. I think they were on their lunch breaks, to be honest. I know I went on my lunch break the other day. So, but at least establish some type of relationship. I know if I ever call back and tell them I want to go, pro tune on my car, I can tell them I picked up my access port here and I know where the spot is, and so at least gives me a little bit of an in, maybe. But all in all, definitely happy I got the access port, and I hope you guys enjoy this video.